Ethically Questionable is electrified by Polestar, the Swedish electric performance brand created to accelerate the shift to zero tailpipe emissions. Their approach to transparency means every car they sell has a carbon impact report so you can drive with a conscience. Hi guys, welcome back to Ethically Questionable. I'm your host, Jamila Brown, and this week on the pod, we have somebody who is so fucking cool, you guys. Just so cool. It's Christopher Griffin, aka Plant Kween with a KW. Don't get it twisted. Who is just a force to be reckoned with, like an educator, a creator, and just full on fabulous. So we got to film this episode while I was in New York for Earth Day. And I just have to say, guys, like walking down the streets of New York City with Plant Kween is like the most joyful experience because people are like stopping us in the street. They're like, Plant Kween, can I get a photo? Plant Kween, can you tell me where you got your incredible red platform patent leather boots from? Plant Kween, where's the fit from? Plant Kween, please sign my, I mean, it's just like, it's incredible. It's so much fun. And they are so much fun, like just such a beam of light. I mean, in all things, but you know, for those of y'all who already follow Plant Kween, especially around this whole idea of like connecting with nature and like learning to take care of your plants. And if you can like love a plant, you can love the planet. And I just think their entire message is spot on. So was really, really pleased to get the chance to film with them at the ACAST studios. Thank you so much, ACAST. And yeah, excited for you guys to listen to the show. But of course, before we get into it, I've got to hit you with the EQ news. So 3 things that have been on my mind this week. Number 1, Shein. I'm going to pronounce it Shein. I know there's a lot of, is it Sheen? Is it Shine? I'm going to go for Shein. And I hope I'm wrong because I don't want to be able to say their name right because, you know, they have bought Everlane. Everlane, you guys, is a fast fashion challenger brand created in 2011, which was all about providing sustainable basics, right? Fair wages, ethical sourcing, you know, all the sort of things you're looking for in a brand. This was like the go-to, you know, need your white tea, don't want to get it from, I mean, insert fast fashion brand here, get it from Everlane. But now, Everlane has sold themselves to Shein. I hate to use a pun, but like, what in the ever-loving Everlane F, guys? I mean, what's going on here? I was reading the letter from the CEO of Everlane to their employees that was maybe not leaked, but shared with journalists. And they're saying, you know, look, this isn't going to change how we do things. Sustainability is still at the core of our business, you know, blah, 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 blah. I mean, let's see. Let's see, guys, because I just can't imagine how Shein and Everlane go together. But hey ho. Sadly, another like sustainable, beloved brand, Allbirds, has kind of gone to the dark side this year as well. Did you guys catch the news about Allbirds selling all their shoes, vegan shoe brand, right? Selling all their shoes, selling all their stores, and taking what's left of their business, I guess the team and the office, and turning it into like an AI data center. I mean, it's chaotic. Like, what's happening? Look, I don't understand business in this way, but like surely just become a different company. Like, how are you still Allbirds? You know, it just doesn't make any sense to me, but it's also disgusting. And look, guys, I feel like I'm giving you bad news, and the whole point of this podcast is good news. So let me just reaffirm you that there are so many amazing new sustainable brands popping up in the world every day that are thriving. And the whole point of this show is to help us like more readily find them and more readily identify things and behaviors from brands that we want to see more of, so that we can give our money to the people who we like and not give it to the brands who are fucking up the planet, basically. Another piece of EQ news is this really strange, bizarre rise in AI-generated Instagram profiles who are like thirst trapping you. And then once you follow them and you're like hooked on their content or whatever, then they like secretly try to convince you that oil and gas is cool. So my friend Anna forwarded me this this Instagram reel from this really great creator called Barrett Paul, who basically like educates people on how to spot AI profiles and also how to like stay safe online and like protect your privacy and your kids' privacy and stuff. And he's reporting on this like really bizarre rise in like thirst trap accounts that are also catfishing you into like going to work on the oil rig. You guys, it's crazy. It's fucking crazy, you guys. But look, Barrett Paul provides some tips on like how to recognize these AI thirst traps before you get too stuck into the scrolling of them all, right? It's like, check when the profile was created. Is it very new but has loads of content that all kind of look similar? Probably a bot, right? Check who it's following. Right? If it is following loads of other accounts that are creating very, very similar content to what's on here, it's because it's learning from these accounts, guys. Like, it's a bot. Don't follow it. There's a few other tips and tricks. So go check out Barrett Paul's page because it's weird, y'all. And we need to not just save ourselves, right? I feel like we are all, like, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably kind of switched on to this stuff and aware and socially conscious and all that sort of stuff. But, like, tell your brother, tell your sister, tell your parents. You know, these parents, sorry to be generalizing here, but they are not the most internet savvy. So tell a friend. Okay. And then last piece of EQ news. I'm just going to make this one really quick. It's London. It's May. It's the hottest May on record. We are all like sweating our balls off here. And guys, May isn't even the hottest time of the year in London, right? August is. So imagine what it's going to be like in a few months, right? Imagine what it's going to be like in a few years if we continue on this trajectory of like burning fossil fuels nonstop. It's just not great, guys. It's just not great. So, okay, look, I'm going to stop with the bad news because, look, there's lots of good and positivity in the world. And I think that Plant Queen's a really good example of all that. So without further ado, let's have some fun. Let's get into the ACAST studio. And, I hope you guys enjoy this chat with Plant Queen because they're fucking fabulous and, gave me some hope for the world anyways. So into the studio. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks so much for being here today.
No, thank you for having me. It's such a beautiful day today.
It's Earth Day.
Earth Day.
We're here for Mother Nature.
Come on, Mother.
And who better to be celebrating Earth Day with than the one, the only Plant Queen?
Oh, well, thank you, darling. I try my best, Yeah, no, it's a very interesting time right now. And it's been inspiring hearing and witnessing so many different types and kinds of conversations that are happening right now. In regards to policy, in regards to personal behavioral changes, in terms of companies, trying to figure out how they can be better, right? So I think it's a very interesting time right now, and I can't think of any other person I would want to be in conversation with right now.
Babe.
So thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I will say I have felt very inspired today scrolling on Instagram. Usually I feel a bit depressed after, or I feel a bit brain dead after, but today I've been this is good, she's amazing, need to get her on the pod. I've been on it today, so it's a good day for social media.
There's a lot of beautiful things. I think you can't allow ourselves to be to doom scroll too much. I think it's always important for us to base ourselves in reality, right, of the situation and the context we're navigating. But we have to, make sure that we're picking ourselves up, leading with joy and curiosity and creativity.
Yes.
Which is why I wore this outfit.
I love it.
Creative.
It's very, very good. Very
Thank
good.
you. Thank
Amazing. Well, I would say one of the things you're probably most well known for is your amazing outfit. So for anyone who doesn't know, you are a superstar creator with, I'm going to say 1 million followers and probably more across all platforms, isn't it?
Almost there.
I think if you add them all up.
Yeah, I'm probably really close. Maybe a few thousand off 1 million.
All right, look, a few thousand of y'all need to go and hit follow on Instagram today, and we're going to get Plant Queen to over 1 million.
Hello, come on.
But obviously you didn't just wake up one morning and have 1 million followers. So tell us, how did you become Plant Queen? How'd you get to where you are today, which is creating and sharing and educating and, beyond?
Yeah, it started 10 years ago. I created the account in December of 2016.
Okay.
And it was born out of a desire to share my plant parent journey. I had bought a plant the summer of 2015. I had just moved into a new apartment.
Nice.
And I was
in New York?
In New York.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been in Brooklyn for how many years now? 14 years?
Okay.
Yeah. And so this was my second apartment in New York. Had roommates, God bless them, because the way I put plants up in that place, ooh, Lord, they were really patient with me. So I bought some plant. I bought my first plant. I still have that plant, Marble Queen Pothos, and it grew. and it felt really good. And it reminded me of, all the lush lessons that my grandmother taught me when I was growing up. And she was a gardener. She was the original Plant Queen.
Oh.
And, bringing a plant into my home was a serious undertaking. Like, it wasn't something I took very lightly. I was like, I am, paying homage to my grandmother and her memory. And I want to make sure I'm doing this right. And I did it right, and it felt really lovely. And I was like, I want to share this. As an educator, I enjoy sharing anything that's beneficial for me. I want to share with others.
Yeah.
And so I got online, started posting, and I was like, where are the Black and brown folks at? Where the queer and trans non-binary folks at? Where we at? And,
No
I had...
queens in the garden.
Right. And I had to, and, on, where are they in terms of like social media presence? And I realized that I wasn't able to find my community because I wasn't putting myself in front of the camera. So that's when I started getting in front of the camera. And that's when I was like, oh, now I'm co-creating community with folks. And yeah, it grew into this business that I'm able to sustain myself and pay my rent and
buy plants.
Buy plants. Boom.
So that's incredible. And I love that you came at this like as an educator. So what were you like teaching in they call it, I'm in New York today, guys, so elementary school? Back home they call it primary school. But like what were you teaching? What was that journey?
Yeah, so my bachelor's degree is in psychology.
Okay. And
my master's degree is in higher education, student affairs administration. So an educator in the way of working with high school students, college students, high school students, child, very particular age group. Lovely humans. It's just, you got to know how to work with high school students. And so my role, I was a college counselor.
Okay.
So educator in the sense that, I would take information and make it accessible and digestible for my students to be able to see the possibilities for their future and their pathways. And so always loved doing that work. I did that in a high school setting. Then I moved on to work at NYU for a number of years in event planning and creating sustainable systems of operation for my students and their events. Then I was the assistant director for the NYU LGBTQ+ Center. Okay. Then I went on to work in tech and doing diversity work in the same capacity, like managing ERG groups. So a lot of transferable skills across that. And my social media presence is very similar. I work with institutions and brands on creating digestible, accessible information that tells a story that allows folks to see themselves within the institution or within the brand.
Oh, I love that. And I'm going to get myself in trouble here, but I love that you're, it's not like you're like an influencer. You're like a proper educator and using your channel and your platform as like a communications tool for change.
Yeah, try my best. Yeah, that's the goal, to inform, to educate, to inspire, to invite, and to explore possibilities, growing plants, people, and possibility.
There we go.
Boom.
Put it on a coffee mug.
Hello.
Well, you told me once that, part of your mission is showing people that if you can take care of a plant, that can grow into taking care of the planet. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you see that bridge, I guess, because I feel like the planet's a lot bigger than a houseplant, and I've killed a lot of houseplants.
We always, we all send a little, some green girls, some plants to that little botanical garden in the sky. It happens. It happens. So that's my ethos is to meet people where they are. Yeah. And that's been my ethos as an educator, with working with people, being in service. Yeah. You have to meet people where they are, right? And so if I can get someone to care about the plant on their living room table or in their house, then maybe I can get them to care about the tree in their backyard or on their block. If they care about that tree, maybe they'll think about the park in their neighborhood or the garden, the community garden in their neighborhood. then maybe that's like, oh, well, maybe botanical gardens or, larger gardens in the neighborhood. And then hopefully move on to, larger ecosystems, right? So I think it's starting with something that's right in front of people, having them understand that they have the skill sets. I don't believe in the green thumb, and I certainly don't believe in a black thumb. I think that's rooted in racism. We don't need to,
Is it?
Black thumb, brown thumb.
I've never heard
Kills
brown
things.
thumb,
Like,
but
come on.
Can I tell you something, actually?
Go ahead.
This might be the reason why I'm not that great with houseplants, as much as I love them and want to have them in my house all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was in 6th grade, we had this like science experiment where we all had like the plastic cup and a wet paper towel and a little bean or something, and we stuck it in. You stick it in the cup. You put the paper towel against the inside of the cup and the seed, and then everybody's bean sprouted except for mine. And I tried 3 times and it didn't sprout. And my teacher told me I had the black thumb, and I've just
that's just rooted in racism.
I've accepted that label for myself for a long time. I'm only recently trying to change it and shake it.
Yeah, I mean, there's one, if we break down the history of green thumb and where it came from, it was 2 possible origins. One, there was a king that really enjoyed, and this is true, there was a king that, back in the days when they were kings, that enjoyed a particular, just like peas, and in order to eat that, he had his subjects pick them for him. And so it would leave this green residue on your fingers, and so he would reward the person who picked the most peas. And so to have green fingers or green thumbs meant you were in favor of the king because you most likely picked a lot of the peas. So it was like association with like, oh, green fingers, green thumbs meant fortune. It meant, being in favor of the king. So that's one possible origin. The other origin is that, botanists, gardeners, when they're dealing with pots and plants, sometimes algae stain their fingers. And, you have green thumbs and fingers associated with botany and being in the garden. Has nothing to do with like this intrinsic knowledge of taking care of plants. Like everything that I've learned about taking care of plants has been either through my grandmother, who didn't have a degree in botany or anything like that. And I don't have no degree in botany. Like this is just a practice. Like I practice. Right. It's a green muscle. Like it's something that you build over time. And then, I mean, why I gotta be black? Why I gotta be a black thumb? Why I gotta be a brown thumb? Like it's just like I don't use that language.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that folks understand that the words we use have power and matter. So I think we just need to be mindful around the words that we're using. So that's not. Whenever I hear someone say that, I'm like, that's not a thing.
I think that is so interesting, and I would have never guessed that like green thumb had any other like meaning behind it other than just like plants are green, then thumbs up.
Yeah, that's why it's important that folks understand.
Soil is black and brown, which is also earthy. So if you're out there digging in the soil and you're great at it, you would have a black thumb, but be like growing plants nonstop.
Exactly.
So I'm with you. The other thing I will say about the whole black thumb label that I got when I was in 6th grade is that it really made me feel like I couldn't do it, and it stopped me from trying. I just kind of like disassociated, and I was like, actually, I'm just a plant killer. So.
And that's dangerous.
And that's kind of a shame because I could have probably. Learned a lot more, a lot quicker. Or
shame on your teacher for saying that.
He was my favorite teacher. I still love him to this day, but he did tell me how to black thumb. Other than that, I loved him. Not impressed. All right.
Not impressed. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Thing to say to a kid. Like what? My goodness.
He also sprayed me with a water gun one time in class. In hindsight, maybe not the best.
I hope
teacher.
he's retired now. Oh my God.
Okay, so moving on from the child abuse section of today's podcast. Let's talk about like millennials, this millennial love of houseplants, because like I said, I didn't think I was very good at plants, but I have a lot of them in my house. I think most people have them. It's part of the decor, right? I think even you said, your very first one was more about like making your space like fit a certain aesthetic.
Yeah.
Versus, I guess, any intrinsic like need or love for nature. What are your, I guess, thoughts on this? Because we all have houseplants, essentially. Yeah. If anyone doesn't have a houseplant, I kind of think they're a psychopath. Right?
I mean, look, I whatever floats your boat. I think there, are some folks that may have not grown up in spaces that have plants indoors. Maybe they were more of an outdoor plant person, or maybe they're just living a lifestyle where they're not curating their space in that way. Very, very empathetic mind, that I approach that I tend to have. But however, I do think that when we bring nature indoors, it creates, well, I would hope, or at least it has for me, create a system of accountability. And this is something, and everyone has their own system of accountability, right? Some people are taking care of little children, little them, little mini me's. Some folks are taking care of their little furry little pets, right? So everyone, everyone has their own system. For me, plants are my system of accountability. This is something that I need to nurture. This is something that I always need to return back to. This is something that needs my care, that needs my love. And in return, it creates a space for me to be in my body. And as a person who navigates anxiety, I've been navigating anxiety for my entire life. It takes me out of the stories my mind is telling me and grounds me, quite literally. And so, again, what you tend to will tend to you. And so I think when folks are bringing plants into their homes, or folks who do have a lot of plants in their homes, I imagine they just have a lot of love to give.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Right? And they want to give that love. And in return, I hope that, they're reaping the benefits, in their mind, body, and spirit of bringing that nature indoors.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I saw a meme or something on Instagram a year or two ago, which I thought was really funny, which was that for millennials or Gen Z or whoever, right? Plants are the new pets. Pets are the new children.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it said children are, but I just thought that was really funny because, in our parents' generation, obviously things were a bit different. Or more affordable, maybe, but
it's
can't afford
expensive
kids,
out
get a
here.
pet. Can't afford pet, get house plants.
It's expensive out here. Pet insurance. Pet bills. Children are expensive. I don't think I've shared this publicly, but I don't plan on having children.
I thought you were about to say I've got 7 kids.
Can you imagine? Oh my goodness. I have participated in helping raise young minds, right, through my work. I've worked with hundreds of students and have, enjoyed it. And whenever I have the opportunity to catch up with one of my students and see where they are, it's just a beautiful thing to witness. So I think parenthood is a beautiful thing for folks who want it. I don't think I need that. And so plants are, a more affordable way for me to continue to give love. In quiet ways.
Something.
Yeah, nurture something. I think it's just so beautiful when you give love to something and the response is growth. Right? That's a beautiful interaction.
Yeah. No, I agree.
It doesn't always happen. Sometimes the plant's like, girl, no. I'm going to go. And that's okay.
And it's not because you have a black thumb.
Right? It's not because you have a black thumb. Sometimes it's the plant. Sometimes it's the space. There's so many different factors that comes into play when we're bringing plants into our homes. And so I think we have to give ourselves grace when we are navigating that. And not always, put it on ourselves as the issue.
What do you think about the idea of plants as a trending aesthetic? I guess, because I guess we were kind of circling that a bit earlier.
Yeah. That definitely happened, 2020, 2021. There was this interesting craze about houseplants. And it's not surprising. We were indoors. Folks were, things were quieter. Folks were sitting still more. And I really wish that, I took a lot from that time. There was a lot of loss that I experienced in 2020. There was a lot of reimagining I had to do, a lot of room to think. And, if we look back, there were so many, obviously a lot of death and a lot of tragedy, a lot of loss that occurred. But I mean, there were some parts of the world where animals were migrating back to.
Wasn't that beautiful?
There was, I think, in some parts of India, like the visibility of being able to see mountains that air pollution had not allowed them to see. Like people were able to see that, and so for me, it was just like, oh shit, I need to sit still. Like I think there's just so, and unfortunately, living in this capitalistic world, being able to sit still sometimes is a privilege. Like it's like some people can't sit still because they're trying to survive, right? And you got to keep moving in order to survive. And so when I do have those rare moments when I am able to sit still, I really bask in it, and I sit still. Like I think one of the most important skills a person can have in this day and age is being able to sit with their boredom. Like sit with your boredom. Like that is something I try to practice as much as I can.
Do you call it meditation? What do you call it? Or no?
Yeah, maybe it's meditation. I think meditation looks different for different folks. Sometimes meditation is moving your body. Sometimes meditation is sitting still. Sometimes meditation is a mantra you repeat to yourself. Sometimes focusing on breathing. Sometimes for me, I think sitting still is just like sitting, no distractions, and observing what's right in front of me. And I tend to do that a lot whenever I take myself on vacation. I do a lot of solo trips, and I literally no book, no music, and I just sit my ass down. Are we allowed to curse?
Yeah.
Okay. I sit down and I just look. I'm like, I observe. I'm like, oh, that leaf is interesting. Oh, that wave is really beautiful. I'm like, oh, I heard that. What animal is that? Like, and I don't know. I can sit still for a very long time.
But you've built that up, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I like the idea of, I guess, sitting still when there's something to observe, like in nature, sounds. Sorry, I hit the mic. It's okay. My husband always yells at me when I hit the mic at home. I like the idea of sitting still and observing when you're in nature, because of course there's like sounds and there's like interesting things to notice. But as you were talking, I was thinking about, have you heard of that trend called raw dogging on the plane, where you take a plane ride but you don't have anything to listen to and no book?
Oh, I've done that.
You can do it on a plane as well.
Hell yeah.
What are you observing though? Because it's just this kind of stationary.
Well, I usually have a window seat. And I'm looking out the window.
Okay.
And I love clouds. That's a other random thing. I'm like,
okay, so you can do it anywhere.
Yeah.
Nature is everywhere.
Yeah, nature is everywhere. Or I love people watching.
Yeah.
I love people watching.
On an airplane?
Hell yeah. People do some interesting stuff on planes. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? And if I can get away, and like, I don't like, staring at people, but like, I just love witnessing human behavior. That's, like studying psychology I really enjoy my classes when we were like, really digging deep into like human behavior and like the intricacies of all that stuff.
Yeah.
I find it completely fascinating. It's always, I love challenging myself. And I'm like, all right, let me sit on this. And, typically the flights where there's no TV screen or anything like that, that's probably like less than 4 hours. Mm-hmm. I've done it.
So you won't have music?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, I'll sit there and I'm like, all right, let's see where my mind can go.
I feel like you've got this like amazing mindfulness, and I wonder if some of that is from like your relationship with cultivating plants. Like, I don't want to make it such a direct thing, but I think it's this like idea of patience and peace and intentionality.
I think that has a lot.
I
think that predisposition has allowed me to.
Yeah.
I think that predisposition has allowed me to. I think I grew up in a family where we created our own fun. Like, we were very creative, and I don't know, we would make like music videos. There's a video of me singing "My Heart Will Go On" by Celine Dion. I'm like, girl, why did my parents realize then, child? I'm like draped in a blanket, and they twirl me around on an office chair, and I'm like, my heart. I'm like, y'all should have known then. However, we grew up in a very curious and creative home environment, and so I think that allowed me to really appreciate what plants can offer if we allow ourselves to sit still and take in the lush lessons. But yeah, I don't know. I've just always been a very interesting, peculiar person
Okay.
from the get-go.
Okay, I want to ask you a question about something I have a theory about.
Okay.
Which I might be totally wrong, but you might have some insight on this.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, this is kind of going back to the whole like houseplants as a trending aesthetic, corporate greed,
Okay.
big plant industry.
Okay.
Like, do you think that? Okay, so basically, this stems from my partner telling me that like the plants that I'm buying from like certain stores will die because they're designed to die because they want you to come back and keep buying plants. What do you think about? Okay, maybe not that idea specifically, but like I guess the business of houseplants and like, is it ethical? Is it questionable? I feel like I try not to buy like cut flowers anymore because I can only imagine that like that's probably not the best for the planet to be constantly buying like flowers that are growing and cut and cut and cut and cut and cut out of season, you know, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
all of that
Ooh,
jibber
my stomach.
jabber, all of that brain dump there. Give me respond.
Yeah, I mean, I think my mind can go a lot of places. Like in this capitalistic world and society that we live in, like nothing really surprises me. I have thought about that. Where I'm just like, I wonder. I would hope that that would not be the root of, you know. I hope that would not be the case. That there are businesses, big corporations out here with farms creating plants that are designed to die. I would hope that's not the case. If that was the case, I wouldn't be surprised. Because what? Like, it's, you know, capitalism
it's
is
big business.
yeah, it's a big business. It's moving money. Like, how do we get people coming back? So yes, I would not be surprised if that was the case. I would hope that was not the case. I have thought about that before.
Yeah.
However,
do you not buy plants from specific types of places?
I try to buy my plants as locally as possible. I think that is one, you're supporting small businesses, you're reducing your carbon footprint. So I try, and I know the shop owners. Like that's, you know, and that's a level of trust and relationship building. And so I love quality over quantity, right? Like I enjoy knowing where my plants. I've gone with plant shops to where they get their plants from.
Where do they get them from?
They get them from like there's nurseries out in like Long Island.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Some are shipped from Florida. Yeah, I mean, there's nurseries all around.
Okay.
And depending on like, I mean, there's some plant collectors that have large collections, and sometimes they'll allow plant shops to come and get cuttings. Like, there's all types of relationships.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, so like for me, I'm like, oh, that's interesting, right? I know where the plant is coming from.
Yeah.
I know the person who grew it. Like that.
You're more connected to
Yeah.
it. You're more likely to take. I mean, you take good care of it anyways. But I mean, if I was getting it from the cutting of the plant collector, I'd be like, oh my god, I cannot let this die.
And yeah, so I think it's like that relationship building, which I think is really, really beautiful. But yeah, I mean, I do think there is. I do think there is a dark side to the plant buying business. I know that there are like some patents on particular plants where you're not. I'm just like, it's nature, girl. Like, what's going on?
What does that mean? Like, only certain people can breed this type of plant and make money?
Yeah,
from
like
it?
you can't sell it or you can't grow it. So there's patents on particular plants. I'm like, that's wow. Like a patent on nature. That's
wild.
interesting. But then again, we have to pay for water, right? You know, so like, and water is something that, you know, Mother Nature just gives us. But anyway, there was a book that I read and it talked about like plants being stolen and like a black market of plants that exists.
Where are they being stolen from? Like from nurseries?
From botanical gardens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's probably like illegal plants as well. right? Like
Yeah, I
because
mean,
of disease issues and things like that, right?
yeah, like invasive species and
That's
stuff
it,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah, so yeah, that's why we're not allowed to go to another country and bring another plant back because it may have something on it
Yeah,
or
serious damage to the local ecosystem.
yeah. And so I think those are things we do have to be mindful of, right? Like I do think that, and so what my plant journey has allowed me to explore further is like, okay, how can I be more aware of the native plant species of the ecosystem, the local ecosystem that I'm a part of.
Yeah.
So understanding what are native trees to New York.
Yeah.
What are some native plant species here? So I did a partnership with Kempton Hotels a while back, and one of the things I was able to do was to try to line up plants that they would have in their hotels to the ecosystem. So I was like, oh, this plant is native
That's
to
cool.
this area, so try to have this plant there, because then that allows a window of opportunity for education and information sharing.
It probably really enhances your experience as a guest as well to like land in Florida, for example, and then walk into your hotel and it's like full of like palm trees or whatever.
Yeah.
And then having that experience not like duplicated, but similar in like this is like the New York vibe, this is the LA vibe.
Yeah. I think I think there's always an opportunity to be intentional with curating spaces that allows folks to walk away with something more than just looking at the space and being like, oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, there are ways to curate a space intentionally, which is what I did for what I continue to do in my career, but I got that started in education, like all the way from high school into college into like my professional career. So.
Yeah. Another topic that I want to touch on, which I learned about a few years ago and I'm super fascinated with, is this idea of tree equity. And essentially, more affluent neighborhoods, for example, you'll notice they have a lot more greenery, right? Like big old trees and green spaces and things like this. And not only does that make those neighborhoods look and feel better, but actually there's loads of other benefits in terms of like cleaner air quality or better temperature regulation, which actually has an impact on like their energy bills and things like that. And when you go to less well-off neighborhoods, there's less trees, less greenery, right? And the knock-on effects and the sort of lack of benefits there are then also present.
Yeah.
I saw this amazing map once of Philadelphia, actually. Did you see this map where it shows, and it shows like, here's all the rich neighborhoods, lush and green, like it's like one of those sky high maps, lush and green and like the big square rich neighborhood, and then it shows some other areas and it's like concrete. And it got me thinking about like living in a city, access to nature, equitable access to nature, and I guess the benefits of just even like clean air in a city. And I just wonder what your thoughts are on that, and how you experience that in New York or in other cities that you work in.
Yeah, I mean, I experienced that growing up in Philadelphia, and noticing, as we were going through particular neighborhoods where I'm just like, oh, there were just a bunch of trees back there. There are no trees here. And again, my something I would do as a child when we would go particular routes, I was obsessed with memorization. I don't know. It's like it's a helpful skill to have, and kind of plays into the educational system in this country, right? Memorization. So like I was really good at school, and so I would count the different trees as we were. It was just like always certain routes, like my grandmother would take, my mother would take. And I would zone out, and I was like, okay, all the trees are still here. I don't know why I did that, which is like something I did. I would do that with like streets. I want to memorize the streets that are coming up. Like it was just something I always did. And yeah, I was always like, I wonder why, why am my grandmother's neighborhood, why are there no trees on the block? Why is her garden the only garden here? There were no trees on my grandmother's block, and my grandmother had a house in the hood, Southwest Philadelphia, the
mm,
hood. And there were no trees there. And so, which made her house stand out even more. Um, and then, later on in life, once, I was in college, and I forgot what course I was taking, and they were talking about tree equity, and how I think, what is it? What's the number? Maybe, don't quote me. I think maybe well, I know that Black New Yorkers are twice as likely to die from heat stress. I think, obviously, POC neighborhoods have less trees, which means higher energy bills. So, if there's shade, you're not using your air conditioner as much. Trees regulate, soak up storm water.
Yep.
Right? So, flooding, carbon. So, there's, a lot of impacts, right? Again, none of this is surprising. When you open the floodgates to being socially conscious about things, it's just everything is just yeah, that makes sense. It's not surprising. It's disappointing, but not surprising. And so that's why I'm happy to be working with the New York Restoration Project, who has a tree giveaway every year. We just shot some videos. I'm going to be posting about that soon, where they give away free trees for folks to plant on their private property.
I love that.
And they're small, medium, and large trees.
How do you plant a large tree?
Oh, the large tree is still, it's in the little.
Okay.
It's not. It's going to grow into a large tree.
Okay.
But
okay.
it's not.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I do wonder, could you I don't want to say beautify a tree, street, but how big of a tree can you move?
Oh yeah. I'm sure. I mean, you can move trees. I mean, you obviously have to play with the roots and stuff like that.
I've seen some crazy stuff on Flipping Out. Have you ever seen that show on Bravo with John Lewis, the home designer? And he Anthony Anderson wanted 150-year-old olive trees in front of his new house, and they moved them, and these trees were the size of a 18-wheeler truck. Anyways, back to tree equity.
People move trees, child. But yeah, so and there are a bunch of I think there's a city program. I hope it's still in place. Was it in Philly or here? I think it may be both cities, or some cities have you can ask for a tree for your block. And so yeah, I encourage folks to. I think it's complicated when it comes to Black and brown folks and the land we occupy, right? Sometimes we don't own that land, right? So that there's a level of detachment from it. Yeah, I think that goes into Black folks have a very complex traumatic history with tending to the land. Our blood, sweat, and tears are in the foundation of this country, along with a lot of other marginalized communities, right? And so I would hope that folks allow themselves to reinvestigate what that looks like for them.
Yeah, finding peace and joy and comfort and nurture.
Yeah, or just a way, or if you're
if
you're an action person, finding your how can you contribute, right? And maybe it is getting that tree planted on your block. Maybe it is volunteering at a community garden.
Yeah,
I think there's ways that we can further educate ourselves, take in information, and then do something with it.
Yeah, I will say I think that urban tree planting is one of my favorite initiatives to direct clients to now versus offsetting your carbon in random places around the world. Why not reinvest in the city you're in right now and support your local community? Yeah.
Important work. It's important work.
Yes. Okay, amazing. Well, look, I think that we are coming towards the end, but before we do that, the show's called Ethically Questionable, so I have to ask you about a few topics, and you have to tell me quick fire if you think that they are ethical or questionable.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, topic number 1. Buildings that have got green plants all over the front of them, living walls and all that. Ethical or questionable?
If they are taking care of them properly and have the systems like water system, I would say ethical.
Ethical.
Yeah.
They look pretty when they're alive.
Yeah. Like if they're taking, like, I mean, there are countries that are doing amazing biophilia designs.
Yeah.
Like that is possible.
Yes.
So yes, ethical.
Okay. Tree bathing. Have you ever heard of this?
Oh yeah, ethical. I love, honey, just bathing and immersing yourself in trees and enjoying the canopy.
You know what? You would love that because you're happy to just be there doing nothing.
Honey, I went to the park and stared up at trees all the time.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Love tree bathing.
Okay. Seeded paper. I see that a lot now, like at wedding menus and things like that. Is it actually
if
good?
People actually do something with them and try to grow them, I would say ethical.
Okay, we're 3 for 3 on ethical now. Actually, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Frequently buying plants because your plants keep dying.
Oh, that's questionable. Honey.
That's questionable.
You need to
do better.
I think you may need to do a pause and figure out what the problem is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if that's happening to you, like, I think just sit and be like, what kind of care do I enjoy giving? Is this something I'm ready for right now?
Okay, because it's responsibility.
Yeah, so
it's like a pet.
Yeah, I think that's questionable. Like,
okay.
Slow down a little bit, child.
Okay. Fake plants in your house.
I'm going to say questionable.
I think so.
I would hope that we can challenge folks to try to bring a live plant into their home. However, if that is where you need to start to eventually get you to bringing in a real plant, then start there.
Yeah.
But no.
Okay.
It's a no for me.
Okay, last one. What about growing like your own fruits and veg and herbs or whatever, but if you live in a city where like the air is probably not that great?
Ooh.
Like what about people that've got like little herb gardens on their balconies in New York?
Yeah, I mean,
I guess you could wash it.
Yeah, you can wash it. I mean, I would say ethical ethical, because I do think even the practice of learning how to grow your own food is a skill we all need.
Yeah.
We all need that skill. When it comes to rainwater quality and what's going into that plant and all that stuff. However, we don't always know the food that we're consuming. We don't know what's in that all the time either, right? So, I mean, it's probably better to grow something yourself and kind of understand some of the various different things that went into growing that because you did it yourself versus just consuming whatever is right in front of you.
Yeah, I guess as well, if you're like sort of almost like deprogramming yourself from the system and learning more about like not just how things grow, but like what you are actively putting into the soil or what the water is to make it grow, then that's going to help you have a wider appreciation for like everything that's happening in the food system around you, right?
Yeah.
It's like you said, once you're switched on, that social conscious is just ping, 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 and all the time.
Yeah, it's just like a ping pong ball, just going all just ding, 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 ding.
All right. Well, this has been amazing. If you've got my absolute pleasure. If you've got one big takeaway for everybody on how to have everything they want in life without fucking up the planet, what would it be?
I would share that when we talk about sustainability, that's like the big buzzword, right? That we think of it not as sacrifice, but expansion. Like, what are ways that you can expand your life? What can you build upon? You may be doing sustainable things, and you may not label it as sustainable, right? And it's just not all on us. It's the policies that are made, the administration, it's big businesses. Like, they have a big role to play in this, too.
Yep.
That doesn't mean that we can't do our daily part of a small collective action and change. But there's also larger conversations that need to be had about policy.
free yourself from the guilt.
Yes.
Lean into the abundance.
Yeah, lean into the abundance. Lean into curiosity.
That's it.
And be playful and creative with it.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. It's been absolutely amazing.
Thank you for having me.
I can't wait to see you again. But in the meantime, people can find you at Plant Kween.
At Plant Kween, KWEEN, honey.
That's
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Bloom Boldly on Substack.
I love it. Thank you. Mwah. Right, guys, that's the show with Plant Kween. Plant Kween with a KW. I love it so much. I had so much fun chatting with them. I mean, such a light, right? Like, such a vibe. I think my takeaway from this episode, and I actually maybe from like an amalgamation of like all the conversations we've been having recently on the show, is that we just kind of like don't love our things enough, right? Like, I think we love the idea of our things, but our actual things like don't get the love because they, in our minds and in our society, seem almost like replaceable, right? Not all, but they do seem replaceable, right? Your plant dies, get a new one, right? Your shirt rips, get a new one. And I think that this is like really an opportunity, I would say, to connect with more of our like friends and our family and our community and those people who are really good at taking care of the things that we love and learning more from them. So like, this is what I was thinking, right? I said on the show, I have killed a plant or two or three, but rather than like Googling like how to take care of my sick plant, which I just don't end up doing, right? Here's an opportunity to like reach out to a friend, right? Plant Kween maybe, or like other friends in my life who are really phenomenal with their plants, right? And have something to talk to them about that isn't like just the same old boring shit all the time, right? Like how great would it be to like be connecting with my friends over these experiences of like taking care of things that I love and I want to keep in my life. And it just sounds amazing, right? It sounds like a better lifestyle, I think. So anyways, that's what I'm ruminating on at the moment, but I hope that you guys loved the show. We are so excited to be back on your feeds next week with another episode. But until then, if you have any EQ news, maybe some positive news stories that you want to send my way for me to read out on the show, you can drop me a DM at Jamila Faye. You can also share anything else you want to hear about on Ethically Questionable. We've got a whole host of topics coming up, so excited to keep building the show alongside you. See you next week, guys. Thanks again for tuning into this week's episode of Ethically Questionable. For more info, thoughts, ideas, conversation starters, you can follow me, your host Jamila, at Jamila Faye.